Life is both wonderful and majestic, yet, of all its majesty, all organisms are composed of the fundamental unit of life, the cell. I am Amormia C. Perez, and I will discuss to you the parts and functions of the cell. So there are two types of cell. The first one is eukaryotic cell. Cells are defined as cells containing organized nucleus and organelles which are enveloped by membrane-bound organelles. Did you know that the examples of eukaryotic cells are plants, animals, fungi? Their genetic material is organized in chromosomes. Golgi Apparatus, Mitochondria, Ribosomes, and Nucleus are parts of eukaryotic cells. Let's now proceed to the nucleus. This can be thought of as the cell's headquarters. There is normally one nucleus per cell, but this is not always the case. Skeletal muscle cells, for instance, have two. The nucleus contains the majority of the cell's DNA. The nucleus sends out messages to tell the cell to grow, divide, or die. The next one is Endoplasmic Reticulum. So here we have rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. In biology, ER is a continuous membrane system that forms a series of flattened sacs within the cytoplasm of eukaryotic cells and serves multiple functions, being important particularly in the synthesis, folding, modification, and transport of proteins. All eukaryotic cells contain an endoplasmic reticulum. While in animal cells, the ER usually constitutes more than half of the membranous content of the cell. Let's move on to the next, which is the Golgi Apparatus. It is considered the post office of the cell. So, in Golgi Apparatus, the site where proteins are modified, packaged, and sorted in preparation for transport to their cellular destinations. We have here plasma membrane. It is to ensure each cell remains separate from its neighbor. It is enveloped in a special membrane known as the plasma membrane. This membrane is predominantly made of phospholipids, which prevent water-based substances from entering the cell. So that's the job of plasma membrane. We have here microtubules. These are hollow cylinders made up of repeating protein structures, specifically dimers of alpha and beta tubulin, with a positively charged end that grows relatively fast and a negatively charged end that grows relatively slow. Protofilaments arrange themselves parallel to each other in a microtubule. So the positive end of the microtubule always has beta subunits exposed. Pero in negative end, it has alpha subunits exposed. Having polarity allows the microtubule to assemble in a specific way and function correctly. Next is centrosome. It is organelles which serve as the main microtubule organizing centers for animal cells. Centrosomes are made from arrangement of two barrel-shaped clusters of microtubules called centrioles, and a complex of proteins that help additional microtubules to form. So these proteins allow the centrosomes to start and stop the formation of microtubule proteins. This allows them to control the formation of mitotic spindle fibers and the other structures that play important roles in cellular development. We also have here ribosome. It is the function of the ribosome in any cell is to produce proteins. These proteins are used in almost all cellular functions. As catalysts, they speed the time of reactions. As fibers, they provide support, and many proteins function in specific tasks like contracting muscle cells. So all proteins start as deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA. A ribosome is a complex cellular mechanism used to translate genetic code into chains of amino acids. Next one is lysosome. Lysosome is a membrane-bound cell organelle that contains digestive enzymes. It involves with various cell processes. They break down excess or worn-out cell parts. They may be used to destroy invading viruses and bacteria. If the cell is damaged beyond repair, lysosomes can help it to self-destruct in a process called programmed cell death or apoptosis. Next one is cytoplasm. It is the interior of the cell that surrounds the nucleus. So that's the picture of the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the interior of the cell that surrounds the nucleus and is around 80% water. It includes the organelles in a jelly-like fluid called the cytosol. Many of the important reactions that take place in the cell occur in the cytoplasm. Mitochondria, often referred as the powerhouse of the cell. So when we say powerhouse of the cell, automatically we know it mitochondria. It helps to turn energy from the food that we eat into the energy that the cell can use. However, mitochondria have a number of other jobs, including calcium storage and a role in cell death or apoptosis. Oh, so we have here cilia. It is a minute hair-like projections on the outer surface of eukaryotic cell. Cilia, as you can see in the picture, cilia are small, slender, hair-like structures present on the surface of all mammalian cells. They are primitive in nature and could be single or many. Cilia play a major role in locomotion. Yes. They are also involved in mechanoreception. The organisms that possess cilia are known as ciliates. They use their cilia for feeding and movement. The next one is flagellum. It is a long whip-like structure, as you can see in the picture. Flagellum, or in plural word, flagella, it is a hair-like structure that acts primarily as an organelle of locomotion in the cells of many living organisms. Flagella, characteristic of the protozoan group Mastigophora, also occur on the gametes of algae, fungi, mosses, slime molds, and animals. So that's the flagellum. Last but not the least, in the part of eukaryotic cell is the microfilaments, also called actin filaments. It is composed of two strands of subunits of the protein actin, wound in a spiral, specifically the actin subunits that come together to form a microfilament are called globular actin or G-actin, and once they are joined together, they are called filamentous actin or F-actin. Microfilaments, these are polymers of the protein actin that are part of cell's cytoskeleton. So now we go to the second part of the cell, which is the prokaryotic cell. It is a type of cell that does not have a true nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. Organisms within the domain bacteria and archaea are based on the prokaryotic cell. So that's the meaning of prokaryotic cell. In capsule, the job of capsule is to protect the bacterial cells against desiccation, as it is hygroscopic and contains water molecules. As you can see in the picture, that's the image of capsule. And inside the capsule, there's a cell wall. It is a rigid, semi-permeable protective layer in some cell types. Lastly is the Pele. Pele are short, hair-like structures on the cell surface of prokaryotic cells. Yan yung Pele natin, the image of Pele. So, let us not forget that these are two primary types of cell, eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are called so because they have true nucleus. The nucleus, which houses DNA, is contained within a membrane and separated from other cellular structures, while prokaryotic cells, however, have no true nucleus. DNA in a prokaryotic cell is not separated from the rest of the cell, but coiled up in a region called the nucleoid. Thanks for listening. I hope may natutunan tayo. God bless!